Okay, it's 5:36. We'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand? We'll salute the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Barrett, would you lead us in prayer?
Sure. Lord, we just thank you for allowing us to gather here today at tonight and help us to make some good decisions. And Lord, we know that there's a lot of kids and teachers out traveling, keep them safe. And Lord, help all the families through this hot weather and the flooding and all the other things going on. And Lord, bring them back safely for the start of the school year. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we got some Hornet Legends.
Hornet Legends, yes. We picked two good ones. So
Sure
we've
did.
got a husband and wife duo.
Ninth grade physical science.
Yes. And I'll start with Betty. Betty was my second grade teacher back in 1988.
Oh, 88. I didn't know what year.
And she was a sweet, supportive teacher, and I have fond memories from that year. And I remember I was absent a whole week that year because I was very sick and having kind of a feeling of uncertainty coming back, and Miss Hines being very reassuring and supportive. But she graduated with her college degree, majored in elementary education, minored in English, and had a 1 through 8 teaching certificate. She actually started at the Mountain View School for Boys in 1971. I think she taught reading there, and then she made the move to Gatesville in 1973 and taught second grade until 1996. And you'd think, well, that's a career, but no, she kept going. She did another many years from 96 to 2014 as the elementary librarian and helped support all the teachers and do lessons and things like that. And some of those years she wasn't just librarian. I looked through her record. Some years she was teaching half the day. And so she was always very diligent. Miss Bone put in her evaluation, Miss Hines has a dual role as librarian with 4 classes of instruction. She does an excellent job in both capacities. She serves as a leader on our campus. And then Don Edwards stated Miss Hines does a very good job of communicating. She's always positive, very good rapport with the students. She's an excellent teacher, interested in her students, wants the best for them. And I put that she was a kind, caring, considerate teacher and librarian for 43 years total. And so for all those reasons, Betty, you're a Hornet Legend. Betty, words of wisdom from those years of education?
None. I'm enjoying my retirement.
You earned it for sure. And Betty, where did you go to high school? Lomita, okay. We'll see. I didn't see that in your file, but in Greg's, I found where Greg was born in San Saba, but graduated from Lomita High School in 1968. Then went and got his degree in biology from Tarleton and his secondary science teaching certificate in 1972. And about 10 years later, he got his master's degree and his mid-management certificate and his superintendent certificate. And similar to Betty, he started out at the Mountain View School for Boys in 71, and he also made the move in 1973 to ISD, where he taught high school science until 1988. And then this is where I kind of came to know Greg. He became assistant principal at the junior high. And then he became the principal there in 92. And then from 2000 to 2002, he was assistant superintendent. So he did a lot of different things. And kind of like Betty, you think he's done. And then he does another, till 2016, I think he job shared with maybe Tommy and Charles and was out at the DAEP. And Bill Bradley once put on one of his evaluations, he's a fine teacher, an asset to the school. He accepts extra duties willingly. He does a great job without complaint. It's high praise. He's willing to go the extra mile to motivate his students. And Tracy Barnes put the following as Greg about being principal. He takes his job very seriously as an instructional leader. He's caring and compassionate and fosters good relations with the staff, the parents, and the students. So I thought Greg was equally deserving of being a Hornet Legend, so we thought they'd make a good husband-wife duo. So congratulations to you guys. Greg, any words for us?
Well, I think you covered about all of it.
Yeah.
The only thing was I would say on the on the very early part of it.
Uh-huh.
She was also born in San Saba.
Okay.
We were 7 rooms apart.
Okay.
And, yeah, she was, but I was a little earlier. I was on the 17th of October and she was 31st.
Yeah.
So we were pretty close together the whole time.
Now, did y'all meet in high school?
No, we met in first grade.
In first grade?
First grade through 12.
You've been dating since first grade? It just feels
Seems like it.
Yeah.
No, we started dating when we were sophomores.
So y'all have known each other for a few
It's
years.
been a long time.
I love the way Greg says it. Well, guys, we have a certificate for each of you, and we'd like to take your picture for the newspaper.
Barrett, I went on a trip to Colorado one time. Mr. Hines went, and it's the first time that I realized that teachers were like normal people.
They're human beings.
That was
just
one of
like
the
everybody
funnest trips
else.
I ever went on.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
it was fun.
Yeah. Well, y'all stand over here, and we'll take our picture, and we'll be in the Gatesville Messenger.
Messenger. It's still there.
Somehow. Okay, my turn. Not fancy. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
and
you.
short notice too,
Yeah.
Greg. Good seeing you. Yes, y'all don't work too hard.
I'm
Stay
glad
cool.
you told me what year it was,
Yes.
because I knew, I didn't know, and I'm sure your mom was remote.
Yes, and she's got the class picture still if you want that. I can send it to you.
I probably have that.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a number of them,
Yes, yeah.
just about all of them.
It's been a few years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. If you want, you can stay for the meeting, but we're taking.
Seeing no one here for public comments, we'll go to the consent agenda. Minutes of the June 22nd meeting, financial statements as of June 30th, bills and payroll for June 2026. Budget amendments, year-to-date budget amendments to fund balance, vital signs report, and food service report. Do y'all want to pull any of those? You'll hear a motion that we accept the consent agenda. All right, Cheyenne, do I hear a second? All right, Lloyd, all in favor? Okay. Information items tonight start with handbook.
So here, when we get to action items, I'll actually present the code of conduct. That's the legal document that the board adopts each year that guides our discipline and our policies and procedures. But wanted to inform you guys, next month we'll be bringing the handbooks for you to review. You don't actually adopt those. Just want to give you a heads up. I was hoping there were going to be some principals here tonight to answer questions. They might have more information than I do, but we'll do the best we can. Just give you a heads up about what's coming. And I included the attachment in there of some things that we're going to add to student handbooks, employee handbooks, and just want to answer questions that you might have and give you all the information we can, be as upfront and as forward as we can with it before y'all give you some time to ponder on it or think about it before we bring the actual finalized handbooks to you, or the draft to review. See anything on there you want to ask a clarifying question about, or
All of these are rooted in different things, and one of the number 3 we will have y'all vote on here in a minute. It's the fine arts no pass, no play that Ms. Wells helped us write, and so we'll pull number 3 out specifically. In that. Lloyd, you had a question.
I did. I saw where it said that if a parent has a problem with a staff member, that there would be no contact with the student, that they couldn't request that. But I think the wording said something like, if they have a problem, they just need to work it out.
I don't remember the.
The wording was kind of.
Definitely want to make sure that it's not. We're not going to be antagonistic on that for sure.
I think, Lloyd, is it the first one here where it's staff
Yes.
member collegiality towards each other? So where we're talking about is that
parent or
it's a staff member that's also a parent.
Oh.
Being nice to their fellow staff members. And there is a rule or a benchmark that if you're real hot, angry and upset, wait 24 hours before you approach them, just so you don't. And that 24-hour rule has been around for a long, long time.
I thought it was about if you wanted a staff member to not have any contact with your student, like you couldn't say, I don't want you talking to my
Now that may have been
That's
highlighted
true.
in the code of conduct.
Yes,
so
that's
we're going to
where-
look at it a little bit, and there is a section in there that we added last year to,
Yeah.
and I maybe need to review the wording before before we finalize it,
Was
but
it
it
one that
was,
was emailed to you?
Yes,
It was,
somebody emailed to me.
That was the code of conduct.
Okay.
I can answer it now,
Okay,
but we
I'm
can
sorry.
look at
That's-
it again in a little bit.
We
That's
wrote
not the
that
handbook.
specifically, Lloyd, because we'll
Yeah.
have parents come and say, now, I don't want Mr. Hines or Mr. Smith or
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Jones. These 7 or 8 people can't talk to my kid. I
Right.
can't do that.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the end, it said if there's a problem, they just need to work it out. or
Review the
something. It was
wording
kind of
again.
like,
Okay.
that's kind of,
Okay.
it's kind of an awkward ending for
Okay.
that
We'll look at
particular,
No, for sure, it's a
you
good
know,
point.
rule.
Okay.
So, but I agree with the rule totally.
No, for sure, good point. And you know, it's a long document, we miss wording on things like that, so that's
Yeah.
why we need extra eyes on it. So,
We need AI to write it.
Yeah.
No. Number 2, the lunchroom visitor policy. So I put that on Facebook
I
today.
saw
Great.
that.
So they were all happy.
Yeah.
They'll be able to
Oh.
have lunch with their kids from about September the 2nd to like April the, okay, September 8th to April 2nd or something. And so they were real appreciative of that. But we have some rules in there. No DoorDash, no Grubhub, no all that stuff to make our receptionists' lives miserable where you can't handle all that volume.
And that you only bring for your child.
Your child, because oftentimes other kids have allergies, and if you come with 20 Big Macs and you're throwing them out to people, you don't know what you might do, meaning good intentions, but something might happen, so. The rest of these are fairly explanatory, nothing too, nothing too controversial or anything. There's some stuff in there about dress code.
Number 8 there, we are updating, here's at the bottom of the page, we are updating our electronic communication between staff and students. That's not finalized yet for the employee handbook. Trying to move completely away from staff and faculty texting students. You know, coaches have been allowed to do that in the past at all schools, not just Gatesville. But we're trying to have just a couple of local platforms, not local platforms, but official platforms. Parent Square and Sports U as our official platforms of communicating with students. It protects the student, it protects the staff member. It just kind of standardizes things, and so we're in the process of rewriting that piece of it so that we want people to be able to communicate. We want to keep open lines of communication, but having that record in that official platform is important, other than just a text message.
Did y'all have any other questions about any of it?
So at the next meeting, the next August meeting, one of the August meetings, I know we have several, we will bring the final draft version of the student handbooks, and each campus has their own student handbook. They'll have their unique dress code and things like that for you to review and kind of just, you know, give your blessing to it's not adopted. It'll be an information item again. But if something comes up between now and then that you have questions about, be sure to ask. That's why we wanted to let you know.
Thanks, Yancy.
Attendance.
This is a yearly informational item to let you know that we are in compliance with the state, the number of minutes we have to have, and so all that is listed on the agenda item sheet. We went through the process of making sure that we are consistent across all the campuses with 77,390 instructional minutes, and the required minutes are put in parentheses also in there. And so we have more minutes so that we can have bad weather days and other things in there in case something were to come up. So we have a cushion built in, and all the campuses are more consistent now. Any questions about the?
It's good to have a cushion.
Thank you.
All right, TASB Energy.
I think we skipped one.
Cable TV.
Oh, cable TV building.
Cable TV building for sale. So I didn't make this an action item because I didn't want to put y'all on the spot tonight, but give you an introductory information. So the old cable TV building that's right between the DAEP and that little blank lot that we traded Andy Layla for with the Hillside Nursing Home. So we own the property behind it, the high school. Beside it, Andy Layla's old spot, DAEP, and on the other side of it, the elementary. So the real estate broker, she says, you're the obvious owner. And for the minimal sum of $235,000, it can be yours. And so I tell her, I said, well, the public schools aren't in great shape financially. And but I did meet her one Friday and went and walked through it with her. And it's like a time capsule. It's like it's built in 1965, shag carpeting, wood paneling on the walls, very clean. I mean, it was very clean, like it had been dusted, vacuumed. It was, I was expecting it to be very, moth-eaten and things of that nature. But it's about 1,800 square feet. It's little carpeted meeting rooms, it's bathrooms, and one of the bathrooms even had a shower. I guess when the cable TV repairman would come in, they would shower off. But in the back, there's a nice storage building. Unfortunately, she was going to go check and see if they could have all those satellite dishes that are adhered to concrete pads. There's a whole bunch of them. And she said, could you use that for anything? I said, no. And at one point she said, well, we think we can sell it to somebody. But she said, Barrett, just make us an offer. She was trying to, I think, give us a subtle hint. Now, all that being said, here in a minute we're going to look at our, we need to start getting a long-term facility plan together to kind of think about the future, and as y'all go off the board and I retire and different people take over, that they have some semblance of, well, what were those guys planning for in the future? Like 6th grade coming to junior high and things like that. I didn't mention that little building because it wasn't really on my radar, but what are your initial thoughts? Do you think, Barrett, that's a once in a lifetime, that'll never be open for sale again? Maybe we ought to try to get it, or like, Barrett, you don't have the money, just forget about it. What are y'all's thoughts? I can go kind of either way.
So the school doesn't own it?
No, we own.
I'm sorry, I thought you were saying we're selling it.
No, they're trying to sell it to us.
Got it, okay.
Yeah. And so we own the property all around it, is what the point I was making. Gotcha. Do you know where it is, Emily? So on Main Street, there's the DAP is a real nondescript building. And then there's the cable TV place, which is a very nondescript tan brick building. There's an empty lot that we mow. Then there's the blue car wash. And then you turn left on the Lovers.
Okay.
So when you leave tonight, look over there.
Is it near the Brazos Braces?
It's a little bit closer down towards the red light. Yeah. Okay. And it's got a bunch of satellite dishes in the backyard.
That is what
That's it.
gets me.
That's it.
In the 80s, that was a little grocery store, a little food store.
Was it a grocery store? I just always thought it was.
Yeah, and it had like some video games in it. We'd walk down there at lunch and play games.
One idea that Scott had, which was kind of a good idea, was if we did get it, we could put the school supply store, the food mart, those types of things maybe in that, and get our professional development rooms back. Right now, Michelle has encroached upon all of our PD rooms. We don't have any PD rooms anymore. So we could have a use for it, but I didn't know if y'all had a strong opinion either way. I was kind of looking for y'all for advice as far as you had a strong opinion or you may not.
Question, how much did you offer? You hadn't said.
I don't know. No, I've not offered her anything. I've been very non-committal and told her, I said, I've been very much upfront with her that we're not in great financial shape. We don't have any real specific use for it. If you think you can sell it to a coffee shop and they come in there and it's a taxable place that's bringing in tax revenue, more power to.
There's no parking.
There's no parking.
You could
I think we need to get it to avoid something coming in there that we don't want near our schools, like a smoke shop or a vape shop.
Well, I think the city council just made some rule about that.
I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
if we can afford it, I think we ought to get it and use it, because that's right in the middle of our stuff. I don't want something about coming in there that we're going to go, oh my gosh. On the other hand, I don't want to buy it if it's too expensive. So see how much you can get them down. That's my idea.
Okay.
Get it down to where it's really a reasonable price.
Okay.
I would say to square off our property for the school would be beneficial, even if the building wasn't usable.
Yeah.
That at some point we may need to.
If you need to bulldoze it all down and have that frontage on Main
Square off
Street.
our properties so that we could build that direction without any.
So you might need to have a need yourself. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying to square off the school property.
Oh, yeah.
Whether the building's usable or not, if it was gone, then at least if we needed to grow the school.
Right.
To expand the school that direction.
We'd have it.
You wouldn't have that in your way.
I think we have an opportunity to make ourselves a little bit more secure. That's just me.
It wasn't as exorbitant as I thought it was going to be, because when the car wash came open, the blue car wash, they wanted some ungodly amount of money. It was like 300,000 to 500,000. It was exorbitant. And I've had other people offer me little tiny pieces of green land for like, just, they think, oh, the school's got lots of money. We're gonna sell that to them for a whole bunch.
Who owns this lot?
It is a building. It's a New York firm that invests in little properties, so they're not local.
So
If
they
there's
want to
no
flip it.
parking, they probably would dump it, because they're not gonna be able to sell it to someone that needs parking,
Yeah.
so.
I will go back with Leanne and we will look at our financial situation and just see, and then I will try to negotiate with them and just see what they say. And then I'll bring it back to you again in August, let y'all know what she says. Very kind, very nice real estate broker, very kind, very pleasant, so didn't hurt to ask.
A closed mouth will never be fed.
Don't build a data center there.
No data center, no
I'm
vape
just
shop,
kidding.
no bail bonds.
Okay, any other discussion about that? All right, well, now we'll go to the energy cooperative.
All right, good evening. Last month I came to y'all to talk about how we were going to enter into the TASB fuel pool and ask your approval for that. For just September through December, since right now, you know, there's so much volatility in the market. And I gave you the capped prices and asked y'all if y'all would be willing to allow us to become part of the TASB fuel pool for the fall. And so y'all agreed, and so that has happened. We went in and the proposal went out, and we got our prices locked in. So for the fall, we will be able to purchase our unleaded at $2.70 a gallon and our diesel at $3.25 a gallon. So I thought that was pretty good considering what the prices are now, and things still are not settled. And so I just wanted to give y'all an update on where that came in. So I'm thinking that's going to be able to save us some money. Any questions
Sounds
on
good.
that? Yeah. Was very
Sounds
good.
good.
So we'll have to do it again for the fall, for the spring semester. Normally it's for a whole year, but this time it's only for a half a year. So hopefully things will be better off then, and we can do even better than this.
All right,
Okay.
junior high edition.
The architect was wanting to present tonight, but he couldn't make it. He's got, we're gonna have a meeting, he and I and Perry Cloud, the head of Cloud Construction, on Friday afternoon. He wanted to have one more meeting, and then he'll be presenting to us in August the design development phase, which is basically the design package that's beyond all the preliminary stuff. Now he's got the whole big thing pretty much done. And so we'll start looking at what all he has designed and see what he has to say then. So I would recommend we just table this for now since Mike couldn't be here, and we'll revisit it in August.
Do I hear a motion to table? Linda, seconded. Calvin, all in favor? Student code of conduct.
All right, this is the document that you were emailed, and it's not a legislative year. There's not a whole lot of updates. There were some, we added a section about returning from DAEP, kind of clarified that protocol when a student returns from DAEP. Went ahead and put that in the code of conduct because there's a significant section about DAEP in the code of conduct. Most of the rest of the stuff was in there from last year, and but I think you make a good point about clarifying our wording on the parent communication so that it doesn't feel antagonistic. So, any other thoughts or comments of the code of conduct?
I would request, this is just from me, and y'all tell me what you think, that you talk to the principals about if there's somebody in DAEP that at least once a week, twice a week would even be better, but once a week, whoever, if a teacher has a student in DAP, go out and check with them, ask them if there's anything they don't understand, try to find out why they're not getting their work done, and if they're not, sometimes they just get stuck out there.
For sure.
And I hear parents complaining that nobody, they don't get much instruction.
Yeah.
Of course, the DEIEP person does the best job, but I think they need to really go check on those kids on a regular basis if you have one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, but just during the conference period, go. I have Johnny and Susie and James out there. I'm going to see how they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Circle up the desks and say, what do I need to help you with?
Absolutely. Make sure to talk to them about that.
Okay.
Any other questions about the code of conduct? The recommendation is to approve and adopt the GSD student code of conduct as presented for the 26-27 school year.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Calvin, second Emily. Any further discussion? All in favor? Got it. Attendance snapshot.
So each year, we need to devise the time that we'll take attendance at the campuses. And they don't have to be in lockstep. They can be all different times. And so I alerted the public today on Facebook that we're going to start a little bit later and end a little bit later at all the 5 campuses. And that seemed to go over well. Most families work 9 to 5 jobs, so not having to get to school quite as early probably was well received. But they would take attendance at primary at 9:10, elementary 9:05, the 3 upper campuses and DAP at 9:55, and then for those special students that are in wings in the afternoon or that go to Temple College for those dual credit courses in the morning and they're not here, you take their attendance in the afternoon at 2:10. And so those are all the different times that we would take kids' attendance, and it's fairly similar to years past. They're always kind of in the general proximity of time, about mid-morning. So I would recommend the board approve the daily attendance snapshot times for the campuses and special programs as presented.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Linda, a second. Cheyenne, all in favor? Okay. Police.
Much like school, in TASB legal updates, every once in a while we need to do updates to our police policy. So Emily, a few years ago when we started the GSD Police Department, we had to write a whole bunch of policies that were aligned with TCOLE, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. And every once in a while we need to update policies or add policies, and one of them that we wanted to add was some direction and guidance if the guys and gals that work for us in the police force wanted to do moonlighting. So what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and so we looked up some of the kind of the generic what they have for police departments, and we came up with the attached policy. It's nothing too out of the ordinary. Basically, it's when they sometimes will work a wedding, quinceañera, or different things like that, a funeral, different things. Chief Stiles wanted them to be careful though as far as like not doing a bunch of the funeral processions, because sometimes they're in accidents doing those. And so we wrote all that in there, just basically giving some guidance on we wouldn't want them doing something that would look kind of from an optics standpoint like you're moonlighting at a gambling place or something that might not look good. So anyway, it's pretty straightforward in the policy, and those are kind of the things that we talked about. When they can use their school vehicle, when they can't, and just different things like that.
The insurance thing was interesting about how, because in the medical field that's very similar right here. Malpractice, you can't, doesn't fall over other places.
Yeah, we don't want them using their police vehicle for the school district at like a quinceañera. We want them to use their own personal stuff. So I would recommend that the board adopt that policy on off-duty work for our police officers as presented.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Emily, a second. Lloyd, all in favor? Fine arts.
This is the policy that's near and dear to Mr. Amon's heart, talking about fine arts and no pass, no play. So we had Miss Wells sit down with the principals and help us write something that would meet a balance between holding the kids accountable if they're failing or they're missing a bunch of school or they're having poor behavior, but also them not missing out on key components of the actual curriculum. Like key chunks of a course might be the actual concert. And so, like I said, Shreve helped us write the policy, and it's pretty short. Enlarge this a little bit. It basically says the UIL no pass no play standards will be applied to any performance that's ticketed or competitive. For example, like the choir Christmas concert or showstoppers, as well as this concert and sight reading. Performances that are co-curricular, like the fall and spring pre-UIL concerts or deemed appropriate by administration, like the Veterans Day ceremony, they don't fall under the UIL standards, so the kids can participate in that. We just put a kind of an if students who are not in good standing with grades, behavior, attendance also risk missing fun activities, if they're not careful, like pep rallies, fine arts trips, etc. So, Charles, comments on that?
I just appreciate you doing that, and I think all of the fine arts teachers are very comfortable with this now. We just had situations where kids were sitting in the auditorium during a concert, which they had spent the whole semester preparing for, and because they might have a low grade in math, they can't get up there. That doesn't have anything to do with that curriculum. But I understand competition, and they're extending that to include things that are ticketed. So that's kind of a gray area, but if that's what they came up with, that's fine with me.
It's kind of a happy medium between them. Yeah. So I would recommend adopting the fine arts no pass, no play policy as presented.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Linda, seconded by Emily. All in favor? Okay. Long-range facility plan.
I thought with all this building and ideas that we've had for building, that at some point it would be good if we just kind of memorialize some of that in just a very short, simple, just start with one page. Not, because sometimes when you have a plan that's 20, 30 pages, people don't read it, they don't want to look at it. And one of the main things that I wanted to get on there is to kind of put down just so a snapshot in time as of July of right now, how much debt are we in? And so you can see in the left hand there, how much we still owe on the elementary, how much we still owe on the high school, and then what we'll then owe on the junior high field house renovation. So that's kind of the backdrop or context. And then I just put on there a couple of points to ponder. This is not an exhaustive list, and this is meant to be fluid. But a couple of things that we don't want to lose sight of is getting 6th grade to junior high. That was something. And also flipping the home and the visitor side at McCamey Stadium. Now there's a lot of other things that we could probably add to it. HVAC and roofs and all kinds of stuff. Covered practice facilities. But I wanted to kind of just start with a couple of things that we're really serious about. And but as time goes on and debt gets worked off, we add more things to it. Like, okay, we paid this off. Now maybe we can do this next thing on our list. Just kind of looking at it that way. What do y'all think as far as, is there anything else pressing in your mind? Calvin, what do you want to build?
I'm really be $1 million home.
Right.
What I happened to walk into the junior high, and I begin to understand them a lot more, that their building is old.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the parts, when they built on to that building, it's just different colors.
Yeah.
It is just ugly.
Yeah.
To see if they can, I don't know if they could.
I think on the design that they were going to come up with, some of that's going to take care of it.
Yeah. And if you want to go in there at some point now, we've changed out
saw.
all the ceiling tiles
It
with the
looks
lights.
nice.
It's a lot brighter, newer looking. And then they'll Toby and the guys will wax the floors. And then next summer will be when we probably paint it.
Well, and I'm referring to the tile. There's
Yeah.
different tiles to
Oh, I see.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm referring to. It's just, it looks nice, the new part, but it doesn't match
Yeah.
the other part. It's just
See, there was a portion that was built on after the 66 version.
yes.
Where that, as you're going towards Marshall, that extra little section that's newer. I guess that was in the 90s maybe. But yeah, the tile changes. So it looks, what we're not wanting, what the junior high folks have brought up, they don't want 3 different color schemes.
Yeah.
Like you can see the 60s version, the 90s version, and the
Yes.
2026 version.
That's exactly what I saw.
Yeah. So they're going to try to. The good thing about the 90s tile is that you don't have to abate it. So you can bust up that tile and retile it without having to abate it. The 60s tile, I think, it's hot. There's asbestos in the glue. So that becomes much more expensive. So
What about the gym that they're renovating, putting in new bleachers? What's that going to be used for?
the same as always. the junior high, volleyball, basketball, the John Price Gymnasium, yeah.
But will it be like a PE in there also?
They do have some PE sections in there, yeah. Yeah, those bleachers are, it was too much to put on Toby this summer because they've done the primary fire alarm system. Intermediate had some septic work done. Y'all probably didn't even know this, but the 6th grade hallway, there was a huge hole in it where the concrete and tile had been ripped up. They had to fix about 12 feet of sewage pipe. And so there's been a lot of projects going on around the district, and I contemplated seeing if Toby could rip those bleachers out this summer, but I think it had been too much. But so if we can suffer through one more season, then they'll be switched out.
So, do we know exactly, and it might not be the time to ask, what are they gonna work on starting, not so much day one when they actually start? What projects are they gonna work on?
Yeah, there is a timeline that they're gonna present to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the long range plan?
Now, that's the only thing I'm thinking, because I understand that it's,
So we'll add to it as things go, but it's good to have that debt information because that's important to know how much debt you're in. And a lot of it falls off here in the relatively near future. You know, by 2030, what was it, 2032? A lot of it's
2036, it's all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
2028 is the first one.
Yeah. Then 2034 and 2035. That's just a hop, skip, and a jump from now.
Less than
So.
2 years.
When we did this bond issue, did we include supplying all the fine arts buildings with the instrumentations they need?
I think, yes, we were planning on some of that stuff with the former band director, so I'll get with Mr. Trammell.
Because you're going to need all of the instruments that the junior high kids used at high school that are supplied by the district will now have to be bought and placed in the new band hall. That includes tubas, French horns, baritones, keyboards, sound systems, piano for the choir room, risers for the choir room. I just want to make sure that's all in the bond, because you're talking about several $100,000 to open that building like you want it to be opened. Otherwise, they'd be going back and forth across the street again to get their instruments. I just want to make sure that's in the bond.
Yeah.
Or was it? I mean.
I remember talking with Jose about
Okay.
it. I don't know if you were out there.
The risers are in there for sure.
Yeah.
When we were talking about bringing 6th grade over, the instruments all at 6th grade at the intermediate were going to come with them, but now that they're not,
Yeah.
I have to look and make sure that that's included in there.
I just don't want you to be hit by a tsunami of all that, because it's going to be probably several $100,000 to equip those rooms.
Any other thoughts on long range planning?
I think it's great.
Okay.
Well, I recommend the board approve the long range facility plan as presented then. It's a fluid document.
Any further discussion? Okay, a motion to accept. Calvin, a second. Cheyenne, all in favor? And now we go to health insurance premiums.
Okay, I presented this to y'all last month, and what I forgot to do was ask for your approval. I gave it to you as an informational item, so nothing has changed. I just need I recommend that we approve that we increase our monthly contribution for the health premiums for each employee from $509 to $555. So nothing different other than I just need y'all to approve it.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Cheyenne, a second. Lloyd, all in favor?
Thank y'all. Sorry about that.
And now we'll go to general election. Wow.
Cafeteria meals.
Cafeteria.
Oh,
Meal prices.
cafeteria meal prices.
So tonight I'm going to present to y'all what we would like to do with student meal prices. Adult meal prices are driven by what the state says, and they have not put out the information yet. So like last year, I will have to bring those to you in August after we already start school, which is not ideal, but I don't have what the state is going to use for adult prices. So for student prices, we are recommending not increasing. We have increased by 10 cents for the last 3 years, so that's a total of 30 cents. And so to remind y'all, everybody at primary and everybody at elementary eats free all the time. And then reduced gets breakfast and lunch for free right now. And so the only people that are actually paying for lunch are your intermediate, junior high, high school, regular students that don't have free or reduced lunch. And so we are recommending that we keep it the same this year and not change the prices. So it would be $1.90 for breakfast and $3.05 for lunch. Questions, thoughts, comments?
Do we know the percentage of students who are regular pay that eat lunch regularly?
So
I know that's a very niche question.
Yes, and I don't know. What I can give you some statistics though and some ideas. So as you get in our upper campuses, less and less students fill out the free and reduced lunch forms. And so our amount gets smaller and smaller on that end, and just general gets larger and larger. At our primary campus, it's about 47% that get free and reduced. Elementary is about 40%. I know those because that's what I have to use to qualify for the CEP, where we feed them all for free. But I know as you go up in the campuses, less and less students fill out the paperwork and less students have free and reduced lunch. So it's not very much. It's way less than the 40%.
That money that the ones that pay, where does that money go, and does that go to a food service?
Yes, it
People
stays
or do-
directly. So our Fund 240 is what pays for everything for child nutrition, and it stays within that. We cannot spend it on anything else. So it goes to all our costs. And it costs us between $50,000 to $75,000 to feed the 2 campuses for free. And so last year we did increase salaries for our employees in the cafeteria, which they desperately needed. They really need more than that, but that's all we could do. And so since we have these 2 free campuses now, we're spending any excess we make is going to trying to do that. And we have less enrollment, and so we're bringing in a little bit less. And we're going to have open lunches now, so that will probably affect us a little bit also. So we're going to do our best to make ends meet in Fund 240. But we have a very generous, healthy fund balance in Fund 240. It's almost $1 million. So we have some money to fall back on in the nutrition world.
If we have that much money in fund balance, why don't we just feed the intermediate kids?
I think it would cost us another $50,000 to $75,000 a year, and so that fund balance is going to go away. We're not putting any back in it. It's going to cost us some out of that fund balance just to keep elementary fed this year. So we're looking at probably $60,000 to $70,000 is going to have to come out of there.
Okay.
So I don't feel like we can sustain it in the long run. We can for a few years, but I would love for everybody to be able to eat free if we could swing it. But a lot of schools are going backwards now, because what they do is they tell you if you have 25% and over, you can feed them for free and you can qualify, but they don't give us back the amount. It's not dollar for dollar. They only give us a reduced percentage, which is why we have to pay for a piece. And so a lot of people have jumped in and said, oh, we can all qualify now. And so a lot of schools around the state are going backwards because they can't afford it, and it's costing them more and more money, and the general fund doesn't have money anymore to help with that. So we can look at it, but this year I don't think we can handle it.
Any other questions? Okay, the motion then is to accept the meal prices. Do I hear a motion to accept? Okay, Lloyd, a second. Linda, all in favor? And now we'll go to the general election.
All right. These elections just keep coming. It's hard to believe it's already time for another trustee election season. So election day is November 3rd. And so we've got to elect 3 trustees for the full 3-year terms. We have various locations in Coryell and even a little bit of Bell County that's covered in our territory. And so early voting is usually 7 to 7, and it's those 2 weeks prior to the actual election day, October 19th, October 30th. And then beginning today, people can sign up in the admin building to run, and they can start today and go all the way through August 17th to sign up. Do y'all have any questions before I make the motion? Pretty straightforward, like always. I recommend that the board adopt a trustee election order calling for an election to be conducted on November 3rd, 2026 for the purpose of electing 3 trustees for full 3-year terms.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Linda, a second. Lloyd, all in favor? Election administrator.
And closely related to that, you have to have somebody run those elections. And so Justin Crothers, he's our Superman. He does a great job every year. He's done it for a long time. And he does a great job with the City of Gatesville, Coryell County elections. And he has all the necessary clerks. And then the Bell County election administrator, also a good election administrator, Dr. Desi Roberts. We've had him for a couple of years now. And so his chief deputy is also very much involved, and they work closely with Mackenzie. She's got to do a lot of paperwork and different things to file, but fortunately, we've all kind of gotten the hang of it. So I would recommend that the board appoint Justin Crothers, the Coryell County Tax Assessor Collector, as the early voting clerk and our election administrator for Coryell County. And then I'd also recommend that we appoint Dr. Desi Roberts again as the Bell County election administrator.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Cheyenne, a second. Emily, all in favor? All right, it's 6:22. We'll go to executive session.